Was a top-secret CIA project that assesses the use of drugs for mind control and psychological torture.
So many resemblances. There's even an X mark.
Every news, every YouTube channel, all the creators were on Johnny Depp, Amber Heard.
Find yourself listening to these musicians.
So you wake up early in the morning to go to work to pay for...
It doesn't apply to you. As you can
Is
see,
one of
we can disagree on here.
Operation Mockingbird is a CIA project.
They'll talk about like musicians having influence.
Yeah.
Just celebrities in general. The majority of the population are drawn to the eyeballs to the attention of literally people we don't know and what's going on in their lives.
Traffic lights are not there primarily for safety.
We're trying something new.
Welcome.
Two.
Not.
Today.
Society.
My part. Today, we're going over conspiracy theory-esque-ish videos. Got that?
Alrighty then.
Yeah, we've done some scary ones recently. We've done some lots, but today, conspiracy
By
time.
the way, congratulations. We're at like 440 subscribers.
We're congratulating ourselves. Congratulations to us.
Yes.
We were just at 3, now we're
We
at
can be
4.
proud of it.
Thank you for all your support. If you haven't already, consider subscribing, checking out the channel. We have a lot of stuff coming, both reaction and new stuff. We're going to hop into this.
Yes.
Let's see. Conspiracy. We want to hear from you guys. Drop a comment and let us know what you think about these videos. We'll give our input a little bit here or there. We don't know too much about this. We're going to sound dumb, and then we hear from you guys. Let's go.
Did you ever notice that Epstein looks very familiar?
He looks like every old white guy I've ever known.
Well, let me take out this $20 bill. Does that ring a bell to you? Who is that guy?
Andrew Jackson?
Yeah, it's Andrew Jackson, but it's also Jeffrey Epstein.
You mean they're like related?
No, they're the same person. This is a vampire. Even on the bill, you can see so many resemblances. There's even an X mark on their cheeks that looks the exact same.
Did you in fact commit those acts? I'm going to invoke my Fifth Amendment right. How many times have you solicited a minor for prostitution?
Same answer.
Have you ever solicited a minor for Virgin Islands?
Same answer.
Have you ever solicited a minor for anywhere at any time?
Again, I'm going to assert my right.
Did you ever? We're going to go off the record. So you are terminating the deposition at this time? Recessing the deposition.
So towards the end, just to clarify, we saw the Netflix documentary, which is really good. You should check that out if you haven't. But
What is it called? I forget. But it's based on Epstein.
Something.
Yeah.
No, it's literally like, I think it's literally about Epstein. The beginning, the $20 bill, Andrew Jackson, Jeffrey Epstein. That's actually pretty crazy how that close to
the resemblance.
The little X
and
on the
like
side.
putting them together half and half. It's like really crazy.
Like I get having like a wrinkle here and like a chin that looks familiar, but then he had like this weird X wrinkle. Like that was crazy.
Oh boy.
I don't know. Maybe
Do
they
you believe in doppelgangers and stuff?
I was gonna say that's definitely a
It's a
doppelganger. Or maybe they go like way back in time, like their ancient
they almost look like twins. It's crazy.
It's crazy. They're doppelgangers. Put it that way.
Or
you let us know
reincarnated.
about that. As far as Jeffrey Epstein, though, maybe we'll do like a deep dive episode on him in the future because it's pretty crazy. Again, if you haven't, Netflix has that. But we're gonna jump into the next one. Let us know what you think about if they're the same folks. Doppelganger status.
World's most dangerous conspiracy theories. This picture represents conspiracy theories from the most well-known to the darkest. Some of these theories say once you learn the truth, there's no return. For this series, we're going to be picking a couple from each category until we reach tier 10, the point of no return. Okay, so tier 8. Today we're going to be talking about MK Ultra. MK Ultra was a top-secret CIA project that assesses the use of drugs for mind control and psychological torture. To dumb that down a little bit, the CIA wanted to see just how far they could torture you with brainwashing or LSD. So today I'm going to tell you how incredibly scary this is. And the reason I didn't post yesterday is because I'm sick. The US government picked a handful of military men and told them that they needed their help to find the cure for the common cold. Except it wasn't for the common cold. The government gave these young men sarin, which is the most dangerous nerve agent in the world. On May 4th, multiple military members were placed inside of a room with 4 windows. The government then taped their arms down and put a gas mask on them. The scientists then dripped 20 drops of sarin onto them and the effects were immediate. You may be asking yourself, what's the reasoning for all this? The US's goal was to create a human who was subservient to the point where he would do things against his will and then forget forget about it. They could make you murder somebody and have no recollection of what you just did. These experiments went on, and in 1973, Richard Helms ordered all of the files to be destroyed. One of the theories is the reason the US has so many mass shootings is because this experiment was a success. Think about it, if a political candidate wanted to get rid of guns, he could make somebody commit a mass shooting and then advocate against that person, saying this is why we should remove guns. So the question remains, did the US not succeed in any of these experiments and just got rid of everything, or did the US successfully figure out how to mind control people and removed all of the evidence? Make sure to follow because we have a lot more to learn.
That's crazy. So this, whatever drug starts with an S or a C, I think, whatever, they put it on someone's skin and they thought it could, like, that was just long and confusing.
That's definitely a deep dive material.
Yes.
You could definitely go down a rabbit hole with that.
Yeah.
But the fact that this conspiracy theory exists is a little unnerving.
In short, it's basically they tried to get folks that, like they said, they could commit mind control. They could do things and forget about it, which is funny because we went over like psychopath traits and all that, and it's almost like they do things without emotion, and they're like, we're talking about sending them to war and killing people, and they come back like without PTSD because nothing affects them. It's almost like they're trying to build a psychopath to do things without emotion or connection.
The example
to it.
that they used was crazy, like saying that to go for against guns or whatever, they controlled the mind of like a mass
They
shooter,
could just have someone go out and
then
do
they
that.
use
Yeah,
that as an example. Like, this is why we don't, shouldn't have guns or whatever.
Use that to their own leverage for whatever political side they're on. They could, leverage that to themselves with the whole mind control aspect. I don't know about
crazy.
that. I just think there's crazy people out there committing these freaking mass shootings. I got to look into that conspiracy theory, that whatever you want to call that testing that they did or whatever. MK Ultra is like the code name. Definitely going to look into that. If you know more about it, drop a comment. I'm going to look more into that.
Please enlighten us.
These 70-ton granite beams have been elevated to a height of more than 350 feet above the ground and carefully and precisely placed in position. It is very hard for archaeologists to explain how that was done using purely leverage and mechanical advantage. You can say, oh, perhaps they built a ramp and hauled the stones up the ramp. But then you have to confront basic laws of physics. You can't haul a stone weighing tens of tons up a slope that exceeds 10 degrees. Then you start doing the calculation. How long a ramp do I need with a 10-degree slope to get to 350 feet above the ground? And the answer is you need a fucking long ramp, which should still be there, because it couldn't have been a sand ramp. It would have collapsed under the weight of those stones. It had to be as massive as the pyramid itself. So this begins to seem like an absurd idea, the idea that is foisted on us by archaeology. Maybe the idea that they regard as absurd, namely that psychic powers were cultivated by ancient civilizations, that they could use powers of the human mind that we have allowed to lapse. Maybe that idea deserves further consideration. We have gone down a path of leverage and mechanical advantage. We're used to relying on machines, but we hear anecdotal reports of people who have telekinetic powers, who can move things with their minds, of people who have telepathic powers. And our automatic reaction is to just dismiss all of that because science says it's impossible, because science regards consciousness as local to the brain and doesn't see how it can exert itself outside of that. But maybe we should open up to those possibilities, that we're dealing with a very different kind of culture that used techniques that we have allowed to lapse. And maybe we could wake those techniques up again. Maybe the ability of human beings to do almost superhuman things is resident within all of us, but sleeping.
Wow.
So there's two main points. The beginning was pyramids.
Yes. We've spoke about that before here.
Everyone's obviously so amazed how back then they were able to make these incredibly, in the structure, how strong they were, how tall, how perfect, the precision.
Yes.
But he makes a good point. It's like those stones are so heavy. The pyramids became so tall. I don't know. Maybe they already know
I
this.
like that he got into the math of it. Like, okay, they would need a ramp, and you can't lift X amount, more than 10 degrees. So how long of a ramp did you need? And how he really dug into that. It really makes sense.
Yeah.
And then it kind of went into
that's where it kind of went more
what is it? Telekinetic.
Telekinesis.
Yeah, moving things with your mind, and
I don't know
kind of how that science says that that's not possible, so we just believe that it's not possible.
He says there are people that can do that. I almost feel like this video is kind of split into two. I see a lot on the pyramids. Like, I do want to know more about how they were able to actually do that. There might be stuff out there. I just haven't, done enough research myself. Because if you just think about it, those things are massive, and the precision that's put into it, cutting the stones, building them, putting them up, like doing all of that, the internals, like all this crazy stuff, crazy building stuff. And then again, you have the more
the reason why he went into that was that maybe that's what they did. And, after so many decades, centuries, whatever, so long, human beings just kind of let go of that, power.
I feel like the whole moving objects with your mind and power and all that stuff, if people can do that, all they gotta do is make videos and it will go viral if it's true. So my point is, if it's true and people can do it, show it. Do it.
I think it's
put the videos out there.
It is, obviously I can't do it, but I'm just saying, like, it's more than just, okay, here's a YouTube video on how to do this. Like,
no, not how. It's there's only certain people who can. You know what I mean? It's not something that you can just learn to do. It's if you can do it.
But what you said was just make it go viral and then everyone would know how to do it.
No, that's not what I said.
Okay.
I said if you can do it, show us and you will go viral and people will start believing it's true. Not that, me watching a video, I can't do it, I'm able to do it. It's if there are people out there who can do this, just show us. Show us that you can do it so we know it's true. Because a lot of the videos we see, they're manipulated. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So all I'm saying
is that's
if
how
you
we'll
can
never
do
know. Like, we could see a video of someone doing it, but we don't know if it's real. So.
Go get interviewed by someone, go on a show, and do it live. We've seen a video, I think once we came across one where, I forget, someone was trying to do some sort of, I don't know if it was a magic trick or something, and they got brought on stage, and they're like, oh, I can't do it because of the power around me. Like, basically saying, like, it's not real. Like, they were trying to do something, but they couldn't do it. And I think it had to do with, it was moving an object, actually. And when they got called on stage in front of an audience, they complained that the negative energy, there was something going on and they couldn't do it. By the way, our dogs are going crazy. So you're probably going to hear them.
In the driveway or something.
Yeah. But that's crazy. We can go on forever about that one. So you let us know what you think about pyramids, telekinesis, if that's the word, telepathic, telekinetic, this,
like,
that.
Do you think people back then had that and that's how the pyramids were made?
Yeah.
I don't know. All right.
My question to you, TikTok, is this lady spot on or is she talking crazy? Do you resonate with this lady? Do you think she's saying too much? Comment below your belief. Are you with her on this one? What does it say in the background? Society is an effing scam. Let's run the video. Comment below. You let me know.
Fucking scam. So you wake up early in the morning to go to work to pay for a house that you're never at. And you pay for a car that primarily gets you from and to work, correct? The government takes anywhere from, let's say 30 to 50% of your wages. And then there's things like VAT, which is basically your money getting taxed that was already taxed. You save up your whole life for a pension, which at the end of the day, the government takes 40 to 50% of that. Then in your elder years, you're living off canned soup and fucking bread because that's all you can afford. And then you get your state pension, which you can't get until you're like 180 years old. And even with that, if you die before you get it, you can't even pass it down to your kids. The government takes it. We are all getting scammed so fucking bad. It's almost comical. People don't see this shit. How can you work 40 or 50 hours a week, especially nowadays, to pay for fucking nothing? So figure 200 hours a month, you give your life to a corporation, and then halfway through the month, you're struggling to get to payday. Sounds pretty fucking familiar, doesn't it? We're giving our lives away for nothing. It is a scam. We're losing more by going to work than staying our asses home. All a big scam.
I don't know.
I know, you know.
I feel like there are people who fit into this. There are people who don't. And then there are people who can literally, like, I can see some things in there, but then a lot of it's like, just do this, just do that, learn how to do something else.
But Okay, so not everyone has that entrepreneurship or
that's where
you know that's gonna yes, but not everyone has that in them.
In today's society, everyone can go out there and start making money one way or another. I'm just saying, like, a lot. I'm not saying you're going to. There's gonna be a lot of failures. I've done it throughout my career. I'm just saying there's a lot of folks that are stuck. It's mostly the older folks, I think. I'm not saying in a bad way. It's just their minds are geared that way. But the younger folks have it completely different. Like, they don't
Can
have.
I say something? No.
Yeah, they don't have to work this 40, 50-hour work week and we can be stuck in this.
But this is like the majority of the country. Like, I get it. Yes, people can do other things, but it's scary to say, okay, I'm going to give up my, salary that I know I'm going to get every other week.
But you don't have to give it up. You could always start something on the side. Okay. Like, when I did it,
Okay, tell that to a mother that has 2 kids and, is barely making it by and doesn't have time to have,
If you have 2 kids and you have a job, you probably...
Coming from someone that I've always worked for a corporation, it fucking sucks. It literally fucking sucks.
Not worked
I'm
for
trying
someone,
now to do something different, but it's, it's difficult.
Unless you're really high up in the corporation, then you kind of fall into what she said. The whole, you pay for a car, it gets you from point A to B. Like, me personally, completely off topic. Like, I'm a car enthusiast.
Okay,
like,
but
I buy
you
cars
are
outside
I'm sorry, but it doesn't apply to you.
I'm explaining how not everyone fits into this. Like,
Majority of people fit into this, though.
Yes. Majority of folks probably fit into it, but that's the problem. They got to think outside the box. Like, I buy a car as a pleasure thing. But yes, most folks buy a car to get to work and back.
Yes. And I didn't even know that. Like, when someone works their whole life for a pension, they don't get to pass it down to their kids. I didn't know that. I didn't know the government takes that shit back.
As someone who hasn't...
Fucked up.
Yeah, I did not know about... I don't know how... Yeah.
Just, I get what you're saying from an entrepreneurship person. But for the people like myself who have always worked for a corporation, a job, knowing I'm going to get paid X amount every week, it's difficult to go out of that. And then there's people that don't want to take the risk.
And that's what
not everyone's going to be successful as an entrepreneur.
No, I know. And that's the main thing.
You've had your good years and your really bad years.
And that's the problem. A lot of people are scared of failure. I always see failure as a learning, basically. People who want instant success or instant gratification. For me, I'll do something, fail 3 times, and then the 4th time will take off. Yeah, I think right now
as you can see, we can disagree on here. So, but let's not go back and forth
right
too
now,
much.
This is definitely a time where anyone who's watching this, if you are not comfortable in your job, keep it, but just venture off and try some things. There are so many ways to make money and do side hustles and businesses online. It's just crazy the world that we live in.
Literally, not everyone can do it.
Have you ever heard of the man that cheated death 7 times? His name is Frano Solak. He was on a train. It went off the rails into an icy river. 17 passengers died. He survived with hypothermia and some bruises. Then he was on a bus into another icy river. Minor bruises and cuts. Then, on his first ever airplane ride, sucked out of the door, landed in a haystack like it's freaking Assassin's Creed. So at one time, his car's engine caught on fire and he jumped out of it right before it exploded. And another time, his engine got doused in oil, caught on fire, went through his vents, was blasting fire. At that point, it's horse and carriage. And another time, he's on this curvy mountain road. He swerves to miss this United Nations truck, goes through a guardrail, jumps out the car, grabs onto a tree branch, hangs on, and watch his car go off the cliff. He also got hit by a bus and sustained only minor injuries.
Oh my God.
He also won the lottery?
Wow, wait, what was that end?
At the end, it said he also won the lottery. There was no words, verbiage, like no one spoke it, but it said he also won the lottery. Yo,
so that reminded me just like, sorry, that almost reminded me of like Final Destination type shit. Like that was his time to go, and fucking system just kept
was just
trying to
like,
take
nope.
him out.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
The
that
whole like
he
getting
survived
sucked out of an airplane.
All
7
of
year
those
death.
are insane.
No, that was funny because then they brought up Assassin's Creed, and unless you play that video game, you know what they're. I do. I used to love it when I was younger, so I know that one. But yes, that literally
all
now
of
that you
those,
said it,
oh
like,
my God.
it's like Final Destination.
Yeah.
Like the movie, like a real
Like
life
he may
movie.
have been supposed to have passed away, like from a thing, and he didn't go. Just like this movie.
But like on
oh my
top
God.
of surviving 7 crazy things, then you end up winning the lottery.
Right.
At that
If
point, you
that's- if
deserve
that-
it. To
I
be
don't
honest.
know. Is that true? I don't know. Like
Well,
he
they
didn't
said
say it, but
yeah, but he says he also won the lottery. So,
Yeah,
but
that's
after all that, you
insane.
deserve to win the lottery.
Yeah.
Like after going through 7 near death
cheated
experiences
death.
like that.
That is literally cheated death.
Yeah, that's pretty damn crazy.
Mm-mm.
All right, hold on. We got a dog scratching
Oh
here.
my
Give us a
God.
second. Okay, we're back. We had a doggy interruption. Moving on to the next video.
Have you heard of the theory that the Statue of Liberty is actually a statue dedicated to Lucifer? So this is the theory. Look at this painting. On the left, that's a painting of Lucifer in the 17th century. It's a picture of Satan summoning his legion, right? Now this is where it gets creepy. Lucifer is called the light bearer. In Latin, Lucifer means light bringing. The Statue of Liberty is holding a torch, which means it's bearing light, right? Before we jump into details, type amen down below to ward off any evil coming off this video. Now get this, the Statue of Liberty looks like the Colossus of Rhodes, which is a bronze Greek statue that stood about 108 feet tall. It was one of the world's greatest wonders. The Colossus of Rhodes represents something. It is dedicated to the Greek god named Helios, the god of the sun. Now back to the Statue of Liberty. People believe it's dedicated to Satan. I mean, if you look, their faces do look similar. But then again, this is just one big theory. Who knows? Let me know what you think down below.
I never heard.
That's a stretch.
Yeah, I've never heard of that one. Not like I've heard of
Yeah.
any of these,
No,
but I
never.
really don't know what to say about that
like
one.
he was like they look alike, and then showed it for a split second.
There,
yeah, I don't know.
You
It's a
could say that
stretch. What
about
do you
so
guys
many
think?
statues and drawings and stuff. Yeah, definitely. I want you guys to comment on that one. If you know about it or what your opinion is on that one. There's really not too much input I have on that one. Statue of Liberty, Lucifer, I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, totally different connection on what they're meant to represent.
Mhm.
Could it be some crazy thing? I don't know. You drop a comment and let us know.
Okay, TikTok. Something I was thinking about the other day. Red lights, traffic lights, are not there primarily for safety. It's not there to control traffic. It controls traffic and makes it safer as a side effect. They're there primarily to raise revenue. I'd be willing to bet that a high percentage of people who run red lights do so accidentally. There's some assholes out there that are running them on purpose, I know, but the vast majority of tickets written are for people who just didn't make it under there. The yellow light turned red and a cop got them, right? They actually did a thing in several counties where they shortened the amount of time that the light stays yellow just a fraction of an amount, and it resulted in a noticeable increase in revenue, percentage of revenue. And this is something that's not regulated. If it's regulated, I don't know how it's regulated. The cops, the little police stations and municipalities can set these lights any way they want. Any way they want. My argument, I want to see what you guys think about it. If traffic lights are really, really, really for public safety, you could engineer in the lights. You could engineer out the accidental running of red lights. You could put a strobe on top of the green light, on the top of there, a really bright strobe that starts flashing 3 seconds before the green light goes to yellow. And almost nobody would run the thing, right? Because you would have a little bit more warning. You know, you'd be extending out the yellow light a little bit by doing that. But they won't do that, though. They won't put strobes on top of it. I'm not the only person that's probably been aware of that. There's a section of highway in Mississippi where they have signs so far out away from the lights that if that sign has a flashing light on it, go ahead and start stopping. right? Now that's safety. That's some safety. I think lights are just there to raise revenue. I mean, what do you guys think? I know they serve a purpose, but I think the other purpose they serve, the main purpose, is to raise revenue.
Yeah, at the end, he talked about a sign that blinks when it lights ahead of you. We actually have that here in New Jersey.
Yeah, not all lights, though.
Yeah, no. It's usually when like a light's kind of like over a hill or something.
Yeah,
they'll kind of showcase
if you can't see it.
Yeah. Now,
but
the main
yeah,
thing,
so
what do you
I
think
didn't
about
know. So he's saying accidentally, like, so I didn't know that they could change the length of the yellow light.
Oh,
so what
yeah.
he's saying is,
I know that because I get stuck at like
Yeah.
the light down here. It skips me all the time.
Yeah.
Like they literally control if it turns
So-
whatever. Yeah.
I just think that what he's saying is that people accidentally get caught from yellow to red, and
then
it's
the cops
causing.
just-
So he's not saying
Yeah.
it's all a hoax or whatever. It's all a scam, but he's just saying yes, it does provide a purpose and a little and safety, yes, but it's
He
also
thinks it's for the cops.
for
But
revenue.
the funny thing is, for me around here, I always see cops. Maybe it's just this area. They usually go after the speeders, not the guys running red lights. And I know this because every time I see a cop hiding out, it's never by the intersection. It's always like on a side street by a main stretch. And I've seen tons of cars run
yeah,
red
but
lights.
nowadays you don't even need a cop to get a ticket
What do you
for a
mean?
red light.
Because of cameras?
Yeah.
Not every place has that though.
I know, but
It's
a
very
lot of
rare.
places do. So
Like on our road here, I see people running red lights all the time, but I never see a cop in that intersection. But I will see a cop 3 blocks down on a side street, or already being someone pulled over like further down. So I don't know. I feel like he's got what he's saying could
well,
be
the fact
true.
that he said certain county, like if this is all true, right? Like if certain counties actually tested and shortened the yellow light, like that's
crazy,
fucked up.
yeah.
But I can definitely see where the angle he's going.
Yeah, and then the whole thing like putting a strobe. So, but all you're doing is like adding.
lengthening the
It's like adding
yellow
another-
light.
Yes, because then
Which-
people are gonna, in their mind, psychologically, they're gonna be like, "Oh, there's a strobe. Oh, that means it's gonna be yellow. I'm good." But then when it's yellow, it's back to like, "Oh, it's yellow. It's about to be." It's like adding another color. Like go green, purple, yellow, red. It's like it's the same thing. Like
I think
in
he
their
was just saying to
minds.
get like another little couple seconds,
Yeah.
just so they know.
I just think it would work, and then people are gonna get conditioned to, "Oh, I can still go." And then there's another color I can still go, and then it's like, oh, we're getting then it's red. Like I think people
Well,
are just
if
slowly
there
gonna
is
get used to it.
statistics of accidentally accidental red lights, I can't
And what the
speak
time,
right now.
what the time frame is for the yellow and whatnot or whatever.
I get it. I do get what he's saying.
Yeah. Let us know what you think about that. This one's definitely, there's a lot going on here. That he brought up a lot of different stuff. So let us know what you guys think about that.
If you ever find yourself listening to these musicians, remember I tried to warn you. You did know that Satan didn't look like this, but he was actually a beautiful angel who was cast out of heaven back then. They called him Lucifer, and Lucifer started a rebellion in heaven, which caused him and a whole host of angels to be thrown out of God's presence. Personally, this kind of baffles me. How could one angel cause a myriad of angelic beings to rebel against the creator of the universe? But then I realized what Lucifer's job was in heaven. He was a musician. So let me ask you a question. Out of all the people in the world, who holds the most influence? Is it kings or queens or even politicians? No. It's musicians. Okay, so wouldn't it make sense that the one who played music in heaven is now controlling the music industry on earth? So when you find yourself ensnared by their tunes, remember the abyss from which they emanate.
So one, I didn't know Lucifer was a musical form.
If that's true, yeah.
We could like literally have a whole video on the music industry and Illuminati and sold your soul to the devil and blah blah blah. So this is kind of covering that in a degree. You know what I mean?
But I definitely agree with I can't speak right now. Music having a huge impact on everyone.
Lots of influence.
So
Yes.
more than people like politicians and
especially
what have
on
you.
the younger folks, because a lot of the younger people don't really dabble into politics a lot. And what do they gravitate towards? Music. They love music. What do most people, like me, I don't listen to the radio. I don't listen to like the, I guess you call popular things. I go and find what I like. But most people will go and listen to the top trending songs. And a lot of those are the ones that honestly fall into that whole debacle of like, oh, they sold their soul, they this, they're that, music industry, this, that, like, and they get their influence from them.
Hidden messages in a lot of music, and like you know, we could do a whole thing on. Actually,
and I think we're
planning on it.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
celebrities and music and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I just find that very true as far as
music
having the most influence on people.
It's definitely influential. People use it for therapy. They use it for this. They use it for that, and it has a lot of folks listen to it. And the younger crowd growing up now listening to this, it has a lot of influence over them.
So the fact that they linked that with Lucifer is pretty interesting.
Yeah, let us know what you think.
Operation Mockingbird is a CIA project aimed at colluding with journalists and the mainstream media so that our government may win the propaganda war. Initially, it was a wiretapping operation initiated by John F. Kennedy. It operated under the Office of Policy Coordination, which then became the Espionage and Counterintelligence branch of the CIA. Carl Bernstein was a journalist for the Washington Post. After leaving, he published an article in the Rolling Stones pertaining to the relationship between the CIA and the press. He found that over a 25-year period, 400 American journalists secretly carried out assignments for the CIA. Not to mention that the CIA has had its paws on Hollywood since its inception in 1947. We see exactly what they want us to see. Just look at the news. We are constantly being fed propaganda. If you don't believe me, just look back at the last 2 years. Someone predicted government collusion with the media. Crazy how someone knew the plan all the way back in 1949. Unfortunately, the powers that be don't want us in the 5D.
So it showed a clip of Johnny Depp and Amber Heard,
and the Will Smith
yes, and the Will Smith. I definitely fell into that. Like when that whole court thing was going on, I was glued to it, and who knows what the heck was actually happening during that time frame because I was so consumed in it. And it's true.
Yes, there could have been.
They just feed us bullshit.
There could have been so many other things in the world going on, but instead, almost like the last episode talked about like musicians having influence.
Yeah.
Just celebrities in general have so much attention. Like our eyeballs are drawn, like the majority of the population are drawn to our eyeballs to the attention of literally people we don't know and what's going on in their lives.
Yes.
These famous people are doing this. It's
I
on the
remember
news.
every
Everyone's watching
news, every YouTube channel, all the creators were on Johnny Depp, Amber Heard.
Yeah,
and
it literally,
that went on for weeks, months probably.
And what happened?
That's all.
It drowned it out. Anything else that could have been going on in the world.
I mean, and that's just one example. So I think it's very true that all the news.
Example,
I mean,
though.
I'm not going to get into what news, but news stations in general just feed us crap.
And it's also what sells. You know, they knew people would be into this, so they're like, we're going to have to do it. All our competitors are doing it. They're going over the Amber Heard Johnny Depp case. We're going to do it. People want to see it. They're glued to their TVs. They see their ratings skyrocketing, their hours of watch time. But like you said, what's going on in this world?
But like, what's really going on? There's so much that we don't know. I mean, like I said, I don't know. Like, they're hiding so much stuff from us. I can't even get into it.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. Do we have another one, or was that
Operation Mockingbird is
that's it.
Yeah, that was actually.
But Operation Mockingbird's been going on for a very long time.
I gotta look into that.
I have a bunch of videos on it.
I gotta look into that as a whole.
Yeah.
'Cause I don't really know much about. I feel like I remember hearing it, but I don't know much about it. But that was just a great example about Johnny Depp, Amber Heard.
God.
It literally took over everything. Everyone was glued to it. Whatever else was going on in the world, you had to dig and pierce through that case of Amber Heard and Johnny Depp to see what else was going on.
There's so many examples, just like when Kanye went up, when Taylor Swift won an award, and that took over news stations.
Yeah.
And he said Beyonce deserved it. But yeah, so we're probably going to do a thing on celebrities soon, so stay tuned.
But like she said, that was the last video in today's episode. If you enjoyed it, consider subscribing for more, and we will catch you in the next episode. Thanks a lot.
All right, bye.